Hey viewers! This time we're going to navigate through the biggest relationship and life mistakes shared by women. Make sure to tune in until the end for some insightful discussions and valuable lessons. Let's jump right in. Drama, Chuck Maniac, OP. Girls, what is the biggest mistake you think you have made, so others don't make the same?
Don't be a mistress.
Would love to hear the goss.
Long story. I was a mistress, and it was a miserable place to be. Broke up more than 2 weeks ago, and I'm more peaceful now, but still has a long way of healing to do.
I'll add to this and say, even if they're going through divorce proceedings, I would hold off until it's completed. I had a friend who was having an affair with a man who had been separated from his wife, and she was living out of state. My friend fell for this awful man, and one day his wife came back and they stopped the divorce proceedings.
My friend became a mistress recently. She told me all of the sordid details. Married, pregnant wife. Our friendship hasn't been the same. I lost all of my respect for her.
Trying too hard when I am interested in someone. I've learned that you will never say the wrong thing to the right person.
Is this true? That you can't say the wrong thing to the right person? Been seeing someone on and off and always worried I've sacred him off.
I think it's true with limitations. Obviously, if you say something mean or hurtful, you might scare someone off, and good for them for not tolerating that. But saying things that are true to yourself shouldn't be what scares them off, like talking about your weirder interests, deeply held opinions, or your vulnerabilities. You shouldn't have to mask key parts of yourself to keep someone interested.
Having casual sex with other people after a breakup. Go for therapy, take help. Casual sex only ruins our mental health even more.
This is some juicy advice, everyone. We understand the emotional toll mistakes can take and some emphasis on the importance of mental health care during vulnerable times. Off to our next comments.
Settling young when you're not confident and don't really know yourself.
I married my first serious boyfriend who I got together with at age 17. Wasted the next 16 years of my life with him. I'm 35 now, and my confidence level is worse than when I was a teenager, which was pretty shit back then too. So many years of being told my feelings were wrong along with a lack of even basic affection really did a number on me. Thank God he was the one who asked for the divorce because I took my vows too seriously and would have stayed miserable forever.
Allowing my ex back in my life, it's like reheating leftovers in a microwave. It's not as good as the first time. Felt this? The same shit, good at first, or so you think? But it's the same person, just not as good. Because you realized all the reasons you didn't want to stay with them have not changed.
Taking an ex back is like shitting your pants, taking a shower, and then when you get clean out of the shower, you put the poopy pants back on.
Started smoking. Don't smoke, kids.
Amen to this. As a pack-a-day smoker,
My parents smoked, in the house, in the car, and windows rolled up. We were all steeped in it. Mum smoked through our pregnancies. Us 3 kids all have learning and respiratory issues. That was back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I tried smoking but didn't like it, thank God. My mum died of a heart attack and had all sorts of health issues related to smoking, Dad too. My younger brother smoked for years, quit, now vapes. If I start thinking about it, I get really mad at the tobacco companies. Ignoring red flags, putting up with deal breakers because love. Ugh.
Man, I did that for years until I finally went to therapy. And adding to this, listen to your body. It knows the red flags much sooner than the heart or the brain.
The comments touch on the repercussions of settling young, the unchanged nature of toxic relationships, and the lasting impact of seemingly harmless habits. We're getting different perspectives here. Let's keep the conversation going.
Don't compare. Truly. Another woman's beauty does not diminish your own. It's okay to marvel at the beauty of others and realize the beauty in yourself. We aren't made the same.
Writing myself off as unlovable and consigning myself to the single life forever. Too late for me now, but girls, fight for yourself because no one else will.
Could you share a bit more? If you're comfortable, because I'm 27 and honestly have the same mindset.
I was bullied severely both at school and at home, and my sense of self-worth was terrible. If I could go back now, I'd get myself in therapy and work on it. But therapy back then was stigmatized, and I didn't know it existed. I decided I was ugly and unlikable, and so kept to myself. I have friends, one has stuck by me for over 40 years, but I've never let myself be open to relationships, and decided I wanted to be single forever. The truth was, I hadn't decided anything. I just wouldn't let myself try because I believed I'd fail. Not trying, and so not failing, was less painful. I'll be 50 soon, and it's taken me this long to see all my good qualities, and that actually I do have something to bring to a relationship. But now it's too late. You're so young, don't give up on yourself. You're a unique person. Wishing you well.
Don't procrastinate your enjoyment. I went through my 20s thinking stuff like, I'm too stressed, busy, to focus on enjoying the autumn forest, first spring bloom, or summer nights, some holiday, etc. this year. But next year, once I've finished XYZ, I'll make time for it. And then I didn't, because next year something else was on my schedule, and then my youth was over. Just make time for it now, whatever it is, even if it's just a little.
In the arena of self-love and seizing life's moments, we've got a whole symphony of voices chiming in. Let's hear the next comments.
Being mean to my sisters, it's pretty much my only big regret in life. I can tell them how much I love them all I want, but they will always remember me being a mean older sister.
As a younger sister, it's never too late to apologize and take accountability for your actions. You can then leave it up to them to accept it. But leave it up to them, don't force it. I'm sorry goes a longer way than I love you ever will. As someone who wishes their brother would do that.
Don't make your significant other the center of your universe. Prioritize yourself while maintaining a healthy relationship. Take accountability for your actions. Speak up. Never take anything for granted. Allow yourself to love and be loved. No one will give you a medal for getting through it the hard way.
Being worn down enough to accept shitty behavior from men. Eroding my independent nature and self-worth. Taking advantage of my good nature with nothing in return. Be clear on your boundaries. You will lose people, but they're people who don't matter.
Decenter men from your life. Build self-esteem, skills, and education. Focus on goals and hobbies. Forget men. They will only drain you and impregnate you, even abuse you. Don't ever get validation from men, ever. Be as selfish as possible. Focus on community and female friendships instead. And don't have kids if you don't want to.
Spending years with someone hoping they will grow into their potential. That is not your responsibility, and people have to want it for themselves. This is different from supporting your partner on their pursuits. Someone with potential makes no strides to pursue anything.
Just broke up with my boyfriend of 8 years because of this. I waited and waited for him to get his life together because I could see how brilliant he was. Towards the end of our relationship, I felt like I was his mom, always making sure he was on top of everything he needed to do. He wasn't. Learned I can't want something more for someone than they want for themselves.
Marrying for love. Love wears off. Marry someone who you can get along with and who respects you and your opinions without feeling the need to fight.
Before I got married, my grandpa said, "Do you like him? I know you love him, but do you truly like him?" And that always stuck with me.
Forgiveness, self-love, boundaries, and choices. Relationships in all forms are as diverse and multifaceted as the individuals within them. Let's hear about the rest.
If you're going swimming or wearing short shorts while on your period, tuck your tampon string between your coochie lips. IDKY or how they travel all over the place, but I've looked down and seen it hanging out and been embarrassed so many times until I figure out how to trap it.
I purchased a home with a 5-foot square patch of bamboo. The time, physical effort, and money I now have to sink into the removal is ridiculous.
I kept dating my abusive ex for 2 years because he treated to kill himself if we break up. He didn't. Neither would your mentally abusive BF.
A good strategy I would do. If they are on the phone and in another location, I would ask where they are and say, "Good, I'm hanging up and calling emergency services for a welfare check." If I'm same location as me, remove myself quickly and safely as possible and call emergency services.
Dating a guy I pitied, turns out he was the devil.
Whoa. This happened to me too. I stayed because of how sad he was all of the time and lack of friends, so I didn't want him to be lonely. He had a whole other lady on backup he kept up with for years. Turns out I was the backup for him when they got into fights.
Staying in a relationship for longer than I wanted to. Really not listening to my gut or communicating how I felt out of fear. Say what you feel, trust yourself, It's better to be alone and true to yourself than try to make something work that isn't making you happy.
Give chance after chance after chance but didn't change.
Taking back a toxic ex. Also, the I can fix him mindset. Throw that in the trash, save yourself from the drama.
Don't sell yourself short you're as important as anyone else. It's okay not to play peacekeeper. It's okay to be selfish and put yourself first. It's okay to be rude at times and make other people sad and hurt their feelings by saying no. Their happiness is not above your own. It's not your job to maintain the peace or make sure everyone is comfortable and happy. You do a lot for you, so be kind to yourself and treat yourself because at the end of the day, you are all you have. When everyone else leaves, you will always have you, so make sure you love yourself, take care of yourself, and make yourself a priority.
Letting immature boyfriends move in with me when they were incapable of doing basic household tasks and barely earning an income. Not being aware of what love bombing is and moving too quickly with a guy who turned out to be incredibly toxic and borderline abusive once he moved in with me. Moral of the story: don't move in with someone until you're fairly certain you know who they really are. I know you can't always. People can change at the drop of the hat once they've secured you. And be sure that they have the income and/or support system in place if you need to give them the boot without being guilt-tripped, that you're leaving them with no other options.
Choices. They shape the narratives of our lives, don't they? These anecdotes serve as cautionary tales and rallying cries for self-preservation. Tune in for the last bit.
Don't share with others when you're mentally in a vulnerable state. There's bad people who take advantage and evil people who want to mess with you mentally even more, just for their enjoyment.
Being a people pleaser and not being able to say no. I have gotten myself into too many situations where I did not want to be involved in, just because I could not say no. I don't want to.
Marrying someone based on what they say their values are, instead of those values in action. When what someone says aligns with their actions, then that is a green flag. If you are confused because of a misalignment, red flag, move on. There are no excuses. Listen when they show you who they are.
Do not beg anyone to stay in your life, especially a partner. Someone who truly loves you, there will be no begging.
If a man tells you you're too good for me, you deserve someone better, I'm not smart, looking, one nice enough for you, in response to you standing up for yourself or your boundaries, believe them.
1. Don't assume that less attractive men will be more faithful, appreciative, or treat you better. 2. If you haven't dated much for whatever reason, don't get married without dating enough that you learn to recognize red flags, your own relationship flaws and weaknesses, and know your type. 3. Know yourself before committing to anyone else. 4. Get a professional degree. 5. Never forgive cheating or a man whose actions or words tell you he doesn't value you or prefers someone else.
Not learning from mistakes. It's normal for everyone to make mistakes, that's a part of life, but what defines growth is how you learn from your mistakes.
Making mistakes is hardly avoidable. Now, it's time for you to ask yourself, what will your next choice be? Will it be filled with the wisdom gained from past missteps? Or will you embark on new adventures armed with newfound resilience and determination? The choice, my friend, is yours to make. Do you have mistakes you wish you had learned earlier? Share them with us in the comment section below.